Hello, welcome to another lesson. We're going to be talking about advisory boards in this lesson, and I'll explain to you what advisory boards are, and then I will contrast them a little bit with boards of directors. Many people who are beginning their journey in either founding an organization or beginning to deal with boards of directors often wonder what an advisory board is and what the difference between the two of them are. Well, look at it this way. The board of directors is the governing body of the organization. It is the body that is able to make decisions to hire the chief executive officer or the executive director. It is the board that has the legal power, the legal and fiduciary power, and that oversees and guides the entire organization, that determines the direction. The board of directors is an optional, the board of advisors now is an optional entity that is created either by the CEO or by the board of directors. And the purpose of the board of advisors is basically to bring in experts in different areas to provide advice either to the board of directors or to the CEO. So boards of directors really are created by boards of advisors really are created by the board of directors. Now, there are many other differences, but the board of directors creates a board of advisors, and if it is done receiving the advice, it could dissolve it, and it determines how much the board of advisors, the members on there, are going to be paid. If it's a for-profit organization or if it's a non-profit organization, it also determines whether they're going to be compensated for their services or not, and things like that. So I'm going to basically show you a diagram right here. We're going to take a look at a diagram that I created for this purpose, and I want us to just look at it and see how these two things work. Let me basically have us move along and see how it works. And just give me a second. I'm having difficulty pulling it up. Just give me a second. Let me pull it up here. Okay. And good. So we're talking about boards of advisors, and I want to pull this table. Now you're looking at a table that basically shows you some differences that I want us to look at here. And again, we've already said that boards of directors, they are the governing body of the organization, and they make all key decisions about strategy and direction. And I've already told you that boards of advisors basically experts on specific issues that the company is either facing now or anticipates to be facing in the future, and these people are brought in to basically provide advice. And so there are many things that you have to basically do if you're bringing in a board of advisors. You need to already know where your company is at, know the needs of your company, and then you bring them and they come and serve a purpose to provide advice and direction. For example, if you want to expand your business internationally and there's no expertise on your board of directors, there's nobody on the board of directors that has experience in international trade and expanding a business internationally, or a nonprofit, then you are going to seek an advisor with experience growing a business in a global market, or growing a nonprofit and taking it to different countries, and then they will come in and provide advice for that. If you're wanting to pull together a great fundraising event and you've never done it before and you don't have the experience on your board of directors, you can bring in an advisor who's done that, who's led an organization that's done that, and they will come in and advise you on how to go about it. Okay, something I want you to make sure you do when you bring in a board of advisors or an advisory member of the board is to make sure that you plan ahead and stay on the same page with this person. They're going to come, they will expect you to be ready, and they expect you to know what you have needs with. They're not being part of your board member to sit down and deliberate and study your organization to see exactly what you need. No, they're going to come expecting to help you think about solutions and ways to be able to do a particular thing that you've already picked out. Also, something you need to do is that you need to ask for specific commitment up front and have it in writing, okay? That's important for several reasons, so that you have it documented, but also so that if it's a match that is not exactly that way, you know that you have a time frame to be able to part ways. 1 year is usually a good time length for having something in writing to do with a member of the advisory board. And you're going to have to pay them if you are a for-profit organization. And if you can pay them a little bit if you're a non-profit, please do that. But certainly for for-profit organizations, you're going to have to pay them just like you pay your board members. And I recommend that you pay them with equity, with stock, and that when you do that, you put a vesting schedule on it, say 2 to 4 years, okay? And yeah, that way it allows you to be able to work with these people, and then they could basically cash in on the stock later. And yeah, a piece of advice that works for board of advisors and also board of directors is that as if you want to really do well, never ever consider family members and friends as potential advisors. Don't do that. And rarely put family members on your board of directors if you want to really have an organization that grows and achieves the purpose. Now, it doesn't mean that it's impossible, like it's illegal. It's not illegal. It's just not recommended. Okay? And if you have a family member, my wife and I are on the board of directors of Shaping Destiny. We're the only people that are related that are on there. She brings in a lot of skill to organization, and so there is situations where that's okay. And if you have a family member that is really then you should consider them for your board of directors. But for advisors, you just want people who are going to come and give you some tough advice if that's necessary. And family members are usually very emotional, so you may consider family members for board of directors if you have to, and if they bring a lot of contribution to the table. But for board of advisors, generally you should steer clear of family members and have people that could really bring you the kind of help that you need. Again, this table shows you the nature here on the nature of advice. The nature of advice that the board of directors gives you is binding. They are the boss. Well, board of advisors, they basically advise you. The names board of directors and board of advisors, they tell you what they do pretty much. Directors direct the organization. They are the boss. Advisors advise. They just simply advise. If you take their advice, well, you take it. If you don't. But the advice of your boss really is what you should do. Basically, if you have a boss and they advise you to do something, you should do it. You don't take their advice and consider it and leave it alone. And the board of directors is like the boss, in quotes. Board of directors has fiduciary and legal responsibilities, but the board of directors doesn't. The nature of the term, they're usually fixed, and board of directors, even there's 1 year, they could be flexible. Okay, that's board of advisors can be flexible. Board of directors are usually fixed. Recommended length 2 to 3 years for board of directors, and then you could have consecutive terms if there are no term limits on your board. And for board of advisors, it's recommended for it to be 1 year. And who creates who? Well, board of directors are self-perpetuating after the initial selection by the founder or founders, but the board of directors is created by the board of directors or by the CEO, who is supervised and hired by the board of directors. And are non-profits required by law to have it? Yes, non-profits are required by law to have a board of directors, but no, board of advisors is optional. And supervision, the board of directors supervises itself and the CEO and the board of advisors works for the board of directors and for the CEO. I hope this makes it clear. You don't have to have a board of advisors, but you have to have a board of directors. It's important if you don't have certain skills on your board of directors to certainly bring in experts on a board of advisors that can help you.